Now recognize the gentlelady from Minnesota, Ms. Omar.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madam Secretary, sorry to belabor this. I know so many people on both sides of the aisle have asked you about the department's decision to remove nursing, teaching, social work, and other critical occupations from the definition of professional degrees and capping their ability to receive federal loans. I know that in my home state of Minnesota, we're expecting to face a shortage of 30,000 nurses in the next 4 years. And I know that your home state of North Carolina, it is expected to see a shortage of 13,000. Our nurses obviously are limited in their capacity, they're overworked, and they're worried. So I know you said the decision is final, but I'm just trying to figure out if you can answer, why did you move forward with an action that you know is going to be creating a problem or worsening a problem that already exists?
Well, first of all, let me correct one thing. We did not remove any of these professions from a professional category. They were never characterized in the law, in the statute, as a professional category. So as these caps were put into place, and many professions were then being reviewed as to what constituted a professional category, guided by the definition of a professional degree from Congress. So that was the overview that we looked at as we were writing this new rulemaking, with the overall goal of putting caps in place that are going to reduce the cost of college.
How is that happening?
Well, I have a couple of articles here already that there are colleges.
What do they say?
They are saying that they are looking at reducing the cost of their graduate programs.
I know, but looking is not addressing the problem that we're currently seeing. What I am asking you is that you've made a decision.
Okay, welcome back to the channel. One thing that I do not like from these liberals, these Democrats, is that you can't answer a question. Clearly, the secretary is trying to answer a question, and she's being overtalked, not heard. If you will give somebody an opportunity to finish, then you can listen. But let's continue with this nonsense. Omar is just, ugh.
That is currently making the problem worse.
That is not correct. Let me push back on that.
Are you saying the numbers in Minnesota that we're seeing or in North Carolina are not real?
Well, what I'm saying to you is there are shortages in those states, primarily in the undergraduate nursing program, which is not affected by this new rule and this new cap. Undergraduate programs are not affected at all by this.
I know,
cap.
but
These are only graduate programs, so the shortage is not a result of this cap being put on. The shortage of nursing is that we don't have enough applicants into the nursing programs that are coming through our university.
So now do you see what's happening and what happened in Minnesota? Secretary McMahon said it clearly. It's not that we're not funding these programs. They don't have enough applicants, so it doesn't make any sense for us to send money when there's not enough people applying. What you hear Omar and what the fraud they did in Minnesota, they don't care if it's not a lot of applicants. Just send the money anyway, and we'll do what we want to do with it because we need the money. And that's why she's arguing. Her fraud in Minnesota, this Feed Our Children, has now been blown up. The person now is going to prison for 42 years, and she's next. But let's continue to listen to this.
Instead of helping with the problem, you've decided to make it worse?
I don't think you were in when I talked about another way to get to an RN, an expedited program. You can get a 2-year certificate and then take the exam to become an RN.
My sisters are nurses. I do know how those things work. I'm asking you about the specific classification that you created that lowers the cap.
We didn't remove them from a professional designation.
I know, but address the cap issue when it comes to the
I just did, because I said it does not impact.
But you said you were trying to lower the cost of tuition. How does that happen?
Because there are already colleges that are lowering the cost of their graduate programs because
What are those colleges?
there's a college in California, University of California in Irvine, and Purdue University in Indiana.
And is it for business or for
They
nursing?
have lowered them right now and for their business programs. I
Yeah,
hope
but we're
that they'll-
talking about nursing, ma'am.
Well, I hope that they'll look at other programs to
Because
reduce
business
their
is
costs.
not something that you had an impact on.
I don't have control over which programs they're doing, but if they have fewer applicants coming into their universities and they realize part of the reason is because their cost is too high, they will lower those costs.
I don't think that is how it works.
It is exactly how it
That is
works.
not how it works.
It is
your
supply-
your
it is supply
specific
and
job
demand. It is supply
is
and
your
demand.
specific job is to try to make sure, as the head of the Department of Education, to make education accessible for Americans. When you create policies that make education unreachable for Americans that want that education, then you are failing at your job.
No, when there have not been caps on programs and universities have been allowed to charge whatever they wanted, and the student
Exactly.
loan program allowed them to borrow up to whatever that university said was the cost, it was time to take action and to put caps in place that are going
Yeah,
to
but your caps only create a funnel through.
So do you see what's happening? Omar is over talking Secretary McMahon because she's upset that no, universities and these universities that they're probably working with in Minnesota, you cannot request for more funding from the government than the amount of applicants you have. You can't say, send us $100 million because we're going to cover all the students, but you only have maybe, let's just hypothetically say 20 students. Well, 20 applicants, you don't need over $100 million. And again, I'm just throwing out numbers. And what Omar is saying is what they did in Minnesota, because now she has no way of earning any more money because President Trump and Vance have decided, no, we're going to cut out the fraud, and we're starting with Minnesota. And now she's attacking Secretary McMahon to force her to change and reverse her laws, because why? She needs more money because she's been stealing money, and her sisters need money. They're in nursing programs, and they're probably 9 times out of 10 running a financial scam through being a student in school, if they are students in school. So this is why she's attacking her. It's nothing more than Omar once again taking money from the American people, using it to send it back to Ethiopia, to people who don't want us here, to our enemies, and then saying, oh, our country is so great, but yet they live here. They won't leave and go back to this great country of theirs, and they're just trying to drain American taxpayers dry. She does not want to work. Her family doesn't want to work. They want to live off of the American taxpayers, and I'm so happy that Trump put people in place, just like Vice President Vance and Secretary McMahon, to make sure that we're not going to allow these foreigners, these illegal immigrants, to come over here and steal from the American taxpayers. Let's finish.
through the private borrowing system.
That's not true.
Yes, that is what it will do. How else
It's
would somebody, if
putting the
if I wanted to get a professional degree and I'm capped and I can't borrow, then I have to, from a public source, then I have to go private. And that is what your administration is really trying to do, is trying to help enrich others on the backs of the American people.
No, what her program is doing, Omar, is making sure you and your illegal immigrants, your people in Somalia, is not living off the backs of American taxpayers, because that's what she essentially wants. Again, their fraud has been exposed. They have run out of money. That luxury life they were trying to live, it is absolutely gone. They are under surveillance, and she's going to be the next to be arrested. Mark my word, and we all know this. So kudos to, again, President Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, and Secretary McMahon for making sure that people like Omar in Minnesota can no longer abuse the system, have fake applicant names, or have the government send them, federal government send them more federal funds, and they don't have enough applicants that have applied. So once again, you all, I'm so interested in what you think about this particular segment. Leave a comment in the comment section and let me know, do you believe Omar again is up to another scheme? She's now trying to rob the Department of Education of funding, knowing they don't have a lot of applicants for nursing, but yet she still wants the same amount in funding. So again, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Again, leave a comment and hit the notification bell so you're always notified when we drop another video. And again, and always, remain curious, stay bold, and we'll see you in the next video.